Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at AGIX. Before we jump into the price action, just want to say thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, why not hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. We've had a really big push up with this, and we're going to be discussing a few options of where we can see this both on the macro and on the shorter time frames to see where we think this is going. Okay, so let's get into it. So there isn't a lot of historical data here. There is potentially a little bit more if we look at this chart on here. So the thing that's important about this, I'm just having a look at this. So this channel's obviously only got 2 touch points on the bottom and 1 on the top. So it's just theoretical at this point, but we can see that there is some interaction between this halfway point. So it is possible we could see something like this play out. So I'd be cautious if we do actually move to the top end of this channel. Like I said, there's only 1 touch point, but pulled off the bottom here, this could be potentially somewhere we see a reaction. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Within this, obviously, we've come down from this high point here, and for the most part, it just looks like a 3-wave move. And effectively, what we have here is the potential to have a continuation to the upside, or alternatively, this could be a connector wave, and we actually look to break down one more time. So the reason why I'm still looking at this is if I throw this fib on here, so this fib is taken from this high point, so we can see that there, and effectively what we'd be looking for within this is the fact that we actually just come up to the 702 zone if we're looking at it from this point here. So if we were looking at this potentially as an A, a B, and a C to the downside, technically speaking, we've actually come up to this zone here already at this 702. So this could actually turn around at any point if it was a corrective move, which for the most part we can argue. So we're going to go over the wave structure in a second, but effectively we could move up a little bit higher here to the 786 would be an interesting zone as well. That would be quite a important zone within this structure. We are sort of battling the bottom of this area though, so we need to just be careful with this. If we do break above this, then obviously there isn't a lot of data besides this high point above us, and it could look to explode to the upside, though we obviously have to wait for that confirmation until we actually overcome this level here, and alternatively this high point here. It is possible we could get a swing failure here and we actually look to break down. So it's just something that we need to bear in mind. So like I said, the 786 area is potentially important as well at the 3754 area. 854 would be this 4623. So this is something that I'm looking at just from a Fibonacci perspective. This would also tie in quite nicely to come into the top of this channel, that 854. There's another way we can look at this. If I throw this on here, if we take this move rather from the top end here of the high point and down to this low point, we can see that that golden pocket also sits in this area here of this 48.25 to this 42.32 zone. So if we do actually continue to move up here, I'd be interested to see what happens around this zone. If we do get a push up here, it could potentially even move as high as the 786 as a B wave and then still look to continue to the downside. So we need to just be careful with this. It has had quite a strong, powerful move up here. If we wanted to say that we have a new trend, I would want to see an A, B, and a C to the upside. Well, I'd want to see this B wave come in, find support again in this zone, and then look to actually push away from this area, whether this was slightly higher up here. Once we get a completed move here, we can potentially pull a more accurate fib, but off of the current area that we do have, if we're looking at it just from this low point here, effectively we could be looking for a 50% to this 1010. 618 would be 786 7 cents 86. So this could be a zone we look to actually move back down to if we're looking at this completing. Obviously we're going to go over the wave count in a second, but this is just a possibility within the structure. So we just need to bear all these things in mind when we are looking at the structures here. Like I said, if we do continue to push up here, this 48.25 to this 42.32 zone would be an interesting zone that we could actually get a reaction and look to break down from. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So let's move over here and start talking about the fib relationships now. So if I just switch over here to the other chart. So what I'm talking about within the wave structure here is there's 2 ways that I'm currently looking at it. And basically one of them is looking for continuation to the downside. And what we'd be looking for here is this whole wave here would be an A. And then potentially we could be looking for this to break down from this point. I do think we have a 5-wave move in here. We'd have to count this as a diagonal though within the structure. and then we could actually count this as a 5-wave move. So effectively what we'd be looking for towards the top of this move is a little bit more of continuation here. Effectively this would be what I am currently looking at on the shorter time frames, and looking for this 4th and 5th, and then an additional 4th and 5th. So that's what I'm currently looking at. Invalidation of this current count would actually come by crossing this high point over here. I need to move this over slightly. Effectively this would then invalidate this potential as a 5-wave move. I do think we are within a 4th wave here, and it is possible that this is going to be a flat correction, and actually the 3rd is here, where this is an A, a B, and then actually we look to break down back into this 2574 to this 2300 area for a 4th. The common zone would be this 2419 area. However, it is possible we could also see a triangle develop here, where this is an A, B, C, D, E, and then we break up. So it's something that we just got to keep an eye on here if we do get, so that would have to be an A, B, C, D, E. So effectively, if this is a triangle, it would be looking to break up from this point, and the target zone for this would be this 3141 to this 2952. So if we do get this continuation up, I'd be looking for that additional 4th and a 5th to the upside, potentially looking to target out this 3536 to this 3229 area. So we can also see if this is take us right into this zone here, and this would be basically a 5th wave based off of this area. So it would put us right into the middle of this zone. So that 1382 is actually this 3262 zone, and if we look here, effectively of that A wave, 1.618 would be 3391. So there's a few things saying that within this zone we could actually get a reaction. So if we do move back down and then push up one more time here, effectively I'd be looking for a potential rejection off this point. This, like I said, this 1618 is a potentially interesting area. We could look to move into it and then break down and basically invalidate the potential of further extension. So that would also take us quite close to this 35-cent zone, and that is another area of interest within this. So that would be a 702 retracement here, and effectively that could actually look to move into this area and then look to break down. So that 3500 could also be an area that we look to break down from. So looking at this move, basically what we'd be looking at is just as a corrective structure. If that is the case, then potentially we have a move, we can potentially still move down to this 16016339110 area, and that would be based off of this A wave here. So we need to just monitor this move and see how exactly it progresses, because if we do continue to the downside here, that 1-to-1 could be an interesting zone. Alternatively, what we could find is that we look to find support. So I'm just going to go with it coming up into this 702 zone. What we could then look for is potential to actually find support in this 50% area again, this 1070, all the way down to sort of this 0544 at a minimum. The golden pockets actually at the top here as well. That would be an interesting zone where we could look to retest and look to move away. So this B wave could potentially still extend to the upside, and basically what we'd be looking for is this potentially then as an A, a B, and then something like this for a C wave. So we need to just wait for this confirmation. What we'd want to see is that deeper retracement here, finding support, and if we do find support in that zone, we could potentially talk about the 1-to-1 coming up here to this 83.99 zone, so that we can see that this would actually take this high point here, and potentially that could then be just a completed ABC move, and then we'd look for a retracement again. Alternatively, we can look at this in a bullish form, and we can say that we've completed into this low. So if we look at it like that and we say we have completed into the low point there, effectively what we have is a couple of options. So there is only one way to count this as an impulse, and it would be that this would be a wave 1, and then you'd have to look at this as a flat correction for a 2, where this is an A, B, and a C. Other than that, it becomes very difficult to count this as an impulse, because you can't count it as a as a diagonal here because the waves don't form in the right way. So this is the only way we can look at it as an impulse. And effectively, this would be much the same thing as we're looking at in the other option. We'd still be looking for this additional fourth and a fifth to the upside here, looking to take us into this zone of this 37.66 to this 29.84. So we're just sort of below that zone at the moment. I do think we're going to get a little bit more of a pullback here for this fourth and then a fifth wave up. However, there is potential that we could see further extension within this, like I said, and we just move up and then we have that fourth wave at a later point. So that's something that can play out. But effectively, this is what I'm looking at until we actually break down past this 21.01, and then ultimately the second invalidation would be at 18.85. So that would be for this secondary move that we have here. If we do look to move up here, find support, and then continue to the downside, and we find support in this higher area here of this 1988 to this 1105 zone, technically we can then be looking for another push to the upside. So this 382, this 1437, depending on where exactly we complete, but this is just based off of theoretically completing in this box. That could actually bring us back into this fourth wave position, which would tie in quite nicely with the idea of having an additional fourth and a fifth here. So if this is the case, what we'd be looking for is this additional fourth and a fifth, which could potentially look to push us up to 57.10 to this 41.28. So this is all just based off of fibs at the moment. We don't have the structure to work out the internal bits. Obviously, this fourth wave might be shorter. It could be deeper. This fifth wave could truncate and fall short of this wave 3 high because this has been quite a strong wave 3. So we need to just be aware of that we can see these things play out. But once we get this fourth wave actually play out, if it does play out, effectively what we would be looking for is that continuation to the upside in a 5-wave move. So we'll try and keep you up to date with this now that we've got it mapped out. But yeah, we just need to be careful because we're sitting right in that resistance zones that we were talking about. So if this does turn around and effectively break down, we could then invalidate this potential bullish structure. So this fourth wave, if it does play out like we've got here, cannot come down and cross this point of 0980 because that would invalidate this structure and we wouldn't be able to count this as an impulsive move anymore. What we'd be looking for is if we do actually move up here into this red box, we'd be then looking for that deeper retracement, like we were saying for that other continuation, and that area would actually be this zone here, this 786 at 0580 to this 1241. Obviously the golden pockets in here as well at the top end of these moves here could be an interesting zone, but the 50% would actually bring us back into this range here. And we do have a little bit of consolidation there, so that might be an area we actually look to come down in. If this move is a flat or something like that, it might be higher up at this 382. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But we just need to be careful because at the moment we just have a 3-wave structure here, and this could actually just break down, like I said in the previous example, and we could actually just form this as an A, a B, and a C to the downside. So we just need to be careful of this fact. It has come up quite strong. So this is a good sign, but I want to see confirmation of this fourth wave. I don't think that we've had this anything big enough to be this. You can't count this as a 1-2-1-2 because we actually come down low. So the only way you can count this as an impulse is a 1-2 as a flat here. And then we'd be looking for a deeper move here for this wave 4. It would have to take a bit of time. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But if this is the case, we'd want it to be similar in relation to this wave 2. So we'd need to take a bit of time here. But we need to also just be careful because it's quite close to this wave 1 top currently. So either we would be looking at this as a 1-2, or we get a 1-2, and then basically we get another 1-2 here if we're looking for a bigger impulsive structure. But until we actually start to get this decline, we won't really know. If we're looking for that 1-2 again, that would change the zone we look at. Obviously, we wouldn't get this additional fourth wave, and I'm going to just put it up here into that red box. Effectively, then we could actually see support come in slightly higher. This 50% here would be, let me just move this over slightly. this 1094, 786.0585 would be the 786. Then that golden pocket sitting right in the middle there, that 84.7, 8 cent 45 to this into 7 cent 88. So that's a zone we can look for support to come in if we do actually move down deeper, and it wouldn't invalidate the potential for an impulse. Unfortunately, for more clarity and continue saying we're going to continue lower, we'd actually have to break down as deep as this 363, 363. So we need to actually see how this plays out. Otherwise, we could just get, like I said, a 1 2 1 2, but on this return we wouldn't really expect to lose this 0585, and potentially this could look to stop higher up here. The 50% would be an interesting zone as well, up here, this 1094. So if we do move to a bit deeper here, we just need to see how the waves react, and off that zone we can sort of plot it out better. So we'll try to keep you up to date. We just need to bear in mind with these smaller coins, you know, there isn't a lot of price history, and you know, it's hard to work out the context of where we are within the move based off of the data we have. So we just got to give it time, plot the moves as they happen, and sort of see where we come out at the other end. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. We'll keep you up to date as we get more confirmation of these moves and or invalidations. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and why not leave us some feedback down in the comment section below. This was actually a community request coin, so yeah. If you drop a comment in there, we'll try and get a look at the coin as soon as we can, once we've obviously done the TA on it. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you in the next video. Take care out there.